especially on the right hand side. If you visit the oldest and most expensive areas of London, you will see some more windows rolled up like that. That dates from the 17th, 18th century when the government was trying to raise more money, as governments usually are. And they realized that if you had a lot of money, you probably had a big house. And if you had a big house, you had a lot of windows. So they decided to tax every single house that had more than 10 windows. And a lot of people back then would rather be deprived of sunlight than pay more taxes. So they walled up the windows. We can see some more examples now. My favorite is coming up on the right because they keep, instead of redoing the house, they keep the exact shape of the window. Here is on our right, just to show Parliament what they thought of their new tax. That's where and that's the house of the Grosvenor family. So the current Duke of Westminster is the descendant of Robert Grosvenor. So Hugh Grosvenor, he's a Duke. He's one of the richest men in the world. He's the godfather of the future King, Prince George. He's one of Prince William's best friends. He's only 32 years old. And then will be married next month. No access to that money anymore. He's in this area, being very close to Whitehall and Parliament. So that's why you can see a lot of flags now. And let me know if you recognize any of these flags. I'm trying to learn them all, they're very bad at flags. Now it's quite easy to tell, but it was a rule originally that if you're a resident in Belgravia, you had to paint your house this color of white. The Queen adds white at least every 5 years. That was a rule, of course, installed by the Duke of Westminster himself, who owns all of the houses. And there is, however, only one person in the entire world who can buy that color of paint from, and that is, again, the Duke of Westminster. That's how it keeps becoming richer and richer every year. Very fancy hotel, well, a couple of them, actually. But the one ahead of us on the left at the end of the street is the Lanesborough Hotel, and that's where we can find the most expensive room in the whole country. So the Royal Suite, which is all of the third floor, and trust me, you can only see a quarter of it now, is the most expensive room in the whole country. Does anyone want to try to guess how much it would cost you to spend one night in the Royal Suite in the Lanesborough Hotel? Any guesses? 600,000? Well, it's way less actually, so now it's going to be less impressive when I say it. Way less than 1 million. The average price for an average room in that hotel is 7,000. That's the average. The Royal Suite is £28,000 a night. £28,000 a night, and breakfast is not included. Because that's just a rule that the Duke of Westminster decided because he just wanted to make more money by selling that paint. But the excuse is he wanted a sense of unity in the area, but really, I think, money. Bonaparte in Waterloo, and he used to live right here on our left at the house, which is now a museum that you can. There's actually a bigger one in Richmond, but it's not central, so it doesn't count. The Royal Park is a piece of land that used to be owned by the royal family and has been offered to the public for public use. So, which is where Queen Victoria grew up, where Lady Diana lived after her divorce. It's currently the official London residence of Prince William, Kate Middleton and their children. It's also the official London residence of Prince Harry, but he hasn't been here in quite a while, has he? That's also, Hyde Park is also where you can visit the Serpentine Gallery, a lovely gallery built next to the Serpentine Lake. The Serpentine Lake is the largest man-made river in the world. And they have a very funny tradition in the Serpentine Lake that I will never partake in. Every Christmas morning at 9 a.m. a group of crazy British people go swimming in the Serpentine Lake. Can you imagine? Heads on. Now we are now coming up to our next stop, stop number 1 on your maps. That's your stop for Hyde Park. So they kept needing to expand the palace and this big thing got in the way. So it was destroyed and rebuilt here, stone by stone. Rebuilt in 1851, just in time for the opening of the Great Exhibition of 1851, which happened just there on our left, where we built a very big Crystal Palace. We called it the Crystal Palace, but it was actually just a house made of glass, but by the poor looking trees. But in the middle of these three trees, there is a sign on the floor, a sign that reads the site of the Tyburn tree. The Tyburn tree was not, it was the name of the gallows. So right here on our left is where thousands of people were executed back in the days, up until 1784, the last execution in the Tyburn tree, at the Tyburn tree. The Tyburn tree could hang up to 24 people at the same time. It used to be Tyburn Road. And it was the road that the prisoners would take from their prison on the other side to their place of execution right here at the Tyburn tree. And back then, there wasn't a lot of entertainment available to people in London, especially if you were poor. So a great day out for everyone would be a hanging day. Whenever there was a hanging day in London, all of London would go. On a nice sunny day like this, people would even bring their picnics and wait at the hanging tree since dawn in order to have the best seats. All of London would go. You would bring your children, your grandchildren, all of your friends, your grandparents, your whole family. And I'll continue to come with picnics to celebrate. This is Mayfair, called Mayfair because we used to have a fair every month of May here. For these Queen rights, they would stay here when they visited London. Stars such as Elizabeth Taylor, the famous actress, she liked it here so much that she stayed in the same revolving doors of the Dorchester Hotel. They were said to have been installed just by Elizabeth Taylor's husband. It was 32 floors high, but then we realized that if we made it any higher, the top floor would be able to look straight into the building at a number 28 floor. And then you had to pay a fee to enter London, a fee of 1 penny that you would pay in the toolbox by us. It will be on our right as we turn. Now from the bus you can see his naked butt, but a few centuries ago he was for public safety because both sides of his private was too distracting to the drivers of Victorian and London, and it created too many accidents. People actually died because of Corey David's private, so he had to be turned around. Royal Park. It is called Green Park because, as you can see, it is very green. It is very green because there isn't any other colours, because there isn't any flowers. Flowers are prohibited in Green Park. And I will tell you why very soon. But in the meantime, as we keep driving, if you keep looking to your right, you will soon see the pair of gates, blue gates, the Devonshire gates. If you look straight through them, you will see down to Buckingham Palace. Oh, perfect, there'll be something just right there. So through those gates, you can see the front of Buckingham Palace. But yes, there is no flowers in Green Park because of the Queen Catherine of Braganza, the wife of Charles II. She was having a lovely romantic walk one afternoon with her husband in Green Park. When she plucked a flower, she gave it to the king and she said, "Now, my lord, you must give that flower to the most beautiful lady in the land." And the king, who was either really brave or really stupid, he gave the flower to her lady-in-waiting. The queen was so upset that when she got home, she asked the gardeners to get rid of every single flower in Green Park. And we haven't had a flower ever since. All of that because one woman was jealous, but I can't blame her. I'm a girl's girl, I'm on her side. Charles II, she was a notorious cheater. He had hundreds of mistresses, and when I say hundreds, I mean hundreds. Yes, and that night the owners of the Ritz thought it would be quite funny to host a Charlie Chaplin look-alike competition. And Charlie Chaplin said, "Yes, what a great idea." And he thought he would be quite to actually enter the Charlie Chaplin look-alike competition. So Charlie Chaplin entered the Charlie Chaplin look-alike competition and he came third. Now if you want to, just at the entrance, the Burlington Beetle are the smallest private police force in the world, and they will arrest you if you go to the Burlington Arcade and you whistle. It is illegal to whistle there because whistling was secret language pickpockets back in the days. Royals get their groceries from. So if you want to eat like a king or like a queen, go shop in Fortnum and Mason. Elizabeth II herself, she in London. Stop number 2 from Piccadilly. But Chinatown, if you stop here and you keep walking the street of Piccadilly that we're on, and Regent Street on our left, built in the early 1800s. But Piccadilly is of course mostly famous for the big screens that you will see very soon. It's kind of our own version of Times Square, just slightly smaller, but actually a bit older. If you meet your lover at midnight under the hour of Eros, it will be true love forever. Years ago in the very place, so I guess true love is dead. Now we are staying in the UK, when something is very crowded, we say it's as busy as Piccadilly Circus, and I'm sure you can guess why right now. This is also the only district of London where we have street license for performing artists, so it's also very common to have performers here in the middle of Soho. We're also in the West End, the theatre district of London, so many theatres, about 50, 60 theatres, just in the few streets ahead of us. Always a very busy area. Ahead of us, Leicester Square. On the left of Leicester Square, Chinatown. And behind Chinatown, Soho, the area of London where we have the biggest clubs and bars. So if you want to go party tonight, you're in England. The Phantom of the Opera has been playing here for 34 years. 34 years, same production, same place, same play, same cast.
Trafalgar Square.
Also culturally, as you can see, Trafalgar Square is where most of the important events happen. There is some kind of event happening today, I'm not sure why, actually. But every Saturday there's something happening here. Some kind of concert or event or party. And when it's not an event, it's usually a protest. So yes, always lots of people here. If you come back here on Gay Pride, New Year's Eve, St. Patrick's Day, you will probably never find your friends again. It will be so busy. But on our left, there's right on top of the Nelson column all the way up there. The statue is missing an eye and an arm that is lost in battle. The statue of Charles I on his horse. His horse, you might notice if you know things about horse, has a very small head. That's because Charles I was a very small man and he didn't want people to know, so he had the horse's head reduced on the statue so that he would look smaller. Here they are. Again, from 10 to 4 if you want to take some picture with them, so. An attack by the IRA in the 90s. Here it is. The grey building on the right side is number 10. The building next door is number 11. As we drive down the Westminster Bridge, I would recommend turning around so you can get a proper look on your right at how massive Parliament is. 1,100 rooms, 5 kilometers of corridors, 100 staircases. And inside there is also 28 restaurants. How knowing French people can be. And I can say that because be shipped and buried elsewhere. However, the fare for the necropolis Westminster Abbey, but on our right, 2,000 years ago. Now you can only see the economic centre, the dome of St. Paul's Cathedral where we are heading. Ahead of us now on the right, this big white building is Somerset House. It was built as a house by the Duke of Somerset. And then he, unfortunately for him, fortunately for us, he was